fractured. Block these uppercuts, they may leave you captured. May the best fighter win and win again. Battle to the top until his life ends. But if his life ends and he starts to decay, may one of his street soldiers avenge things. See you talking to the game, couldn't be talking to me. I got enough to beat and more soldiers to bury. You know it just clicked in and made you realize this game is twice as hard. You see that with your own eyes. You're on the way to choose your type of life, cause you gotta. I tell you from now, which fighter will be the hotter. I don't think you want this one, just practice. Just challenge me when you're ready with your tactics. High punch, spin kicks, watch your back split. I see you in the air when I make you backflip. Select to make your first pick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Choose and pick the best one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Select to make your first pick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Choose and pick the best one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Select to make your first pick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Choose and pick the best one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Select to make your first pick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Choose and pick the best one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One box could leave you messed up and fractured. Block these uppercuts, they may leave you captured. May the best fighter win and win again. Battle to the top until his life ends. But if his life ends and he starts to decay, may one of his street soldiers avenge things. See you talking to the game, couldn't be talking to me. I got enough to beat and more soldiers to bury. You know it just clicked in and made you realize this game is twice as hard. You see that with your own eyes. You're on the way to choose your type of life, cause you gotta. I tell you from now, which fighter will be the hotter. I don't think you want this one, just practice. Just challenge me when you're ready with your tactics. High punch, spin kicks, watch your back split. I see you in the air when I make you backflip. Select to make your first pick.
Hey, what is up, Internet? It is January 13th, 2026, second week into January already, and we are here with another episode of Gaming Academy. So welcome back to the Academy. If it's first time here, grab a seat, check it out. You're in for a treat. Because tonight, we're going to be entering Class 61 with, something to start with something honest. Something every gamer feels. And I felt this a little bit last year, whether I admit it out loud or not. Let's be real. There's just too many games out there and not enough time. Every week brings a new release, and every month drops another expansion, with every platform wanting your subscription. It's crazy. And the backlog, look behind me. The backlog has evolved past a list. It's a living creature, a raid boss with phases, mechanics, and a berserk timer we can't outrun. But tonight, we're facing it head on, because this conversation is about the costs of playing everything. Not just in dollars, but in time, energy, guilt, burnout, and that feeling of falling behind in a hobby that's supposed to bring you joy. Now, and the good news is you don't have to face it alone. The Academy is here. The faculty is assembled. And this season, our team has grown. So if you haven't checked out the last 2 episodes, do that now or do it later. Together, tonight, we're going to break this topic apart. We're going to laugh about it. We're going to vent about it. And we're going to get real about it. And by the end of the class, we'll help you find your footing again in a world where every game demands everything. So take your seats, settle in, and prepare yourselves for Class 61. It begins now. I almost was tempted to say Mortal Kombat, but yeah, I don't do this myself. And let me introduce you to everybody here in the faculty. Let's just open doors here and have them introduce themselves. Fellas.
It has begun.
Johnny Cage.
There we go.
It's great to see everybody. Welcome back. It's another beautiful stormy Tuesday up here in the PNW, and yeah, we've got plenty to talk about. This is actually a topic that, much like the headmaster said, has been at the forefront of our minds for quite some time, even though we haven't verbalized it directly. So hopefully by the end of these next couple hours, you'll have yourselves a bit more of a foothold on how you want to handle your backlog or how you want to handle what's coming up.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's intense, man. I mean, we've been dancing around this for weeks. It's been a discussion on a lot of different media sites. It's just kind of all the subscriptions, everything out there, garnering for our time. Where are you going to spend it? And as everyone knows, I'm spending less and less time in front of my games. So it's become more important that I have kind of picked out ahead of time where I'm going to spend that time.
No, that's absolutely true. It gets much harder as a parent to find that time to game, and so you start gauging things in a deeply different way, right? Like you look at the value proposition of a game and what it really means, over the course of 5 hours or 10 hours or 20, or God help you if you want an RPG. Like you can be like, am I going to be able to find that time? Oh, I can play this, but it's going to take me 1 year at the least.
Just spending all this time grinding real life cosmetics, you know what I mean?
Right.
that battle pass, that is life.
It's a real struggle. It's a real struggle. So we're going to cover all that stuff too.
And hey, same as Blizzard, there's never enough platinum in my battle pass.
Right.
I don't like that.
That was so frustrating. And then after the redo too was like, oh, we're gonna completely like rework this, and you get to have a choice in it. And it's still like, yeah, but I still can't afford what I want. And that's just the next battle pass.
I can't afford the next thing I have to grind.
The next thing,
Terrible.
right?
Yeah, terrible. All good. Well, it's good to see you guys. It's always, I feel like every week that we join up for this thing, always something crazy happens. Last week we lost power and internet over here at the at the Academy storage room, right where I do the show live. And it happened twice, right? I think I disappeared 2 times.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Got taken to the land of wind and ghosts.
Yep,
I was just sick,
got
so
around.
like you said, Ace, I'm glad that I missed it. Because we have such limited time to play games nowadays. Actually, we used to at the end of when we signed off, talked about like what have you played in the last week, like what kind of games. So with this limited time, since what are you playing right now?
Jago says I got the clips to prove it. That's my man right there.
Not our favorite clips.
That's
We've
great.
had some good ones. But what are you guys playing right now with that limited time you got?
Fair enough, guys. I'm still thinking. My brain's scattered.
I took a little bit of a break from Ball Pit. Surprise, surprise. And actually, over the last few days, I've been kind of dipping back into playing more retro stuff. Trying to balance my time between the old and the new. So I jumped back into Valkyrie Profile 2 Silmeria. There was a rather substantive update for Ovis Loop on Steam, so jump back into that for a little bit. And then other than that, Warframe and Monster Hunter.
The classic.
Yeah, chat, same as you. Let us know what you're playing to see Absalom, Red Dead 1 remaster. Lots of stuff. I've been trying to put more time into Ghost of Yotei. A buddy of mine let me borrow it because I can't pick it up on my own. And I'm getting a little bit further along, and I'm enjoying it, as I knew I would. And also put just a little bit of time into Balatro again. After James showed me a couple rounds, I decided to get it myself. The usual thing. And yeah, whenever I can, baby goes down for a nap, I got 30 minutes. I'm like, I can do a couple rounds of Balatro. That's all
That's
I need.
great. That's what that game is for. I do that too. I go like, oh man, it's almost time for bed. I got 1 round of Balatro in me. Like that's
Or 2 if it's a bad run.
Yeah, or 2 if you just get frustrated. Yeah.
Oh, Andre in the chat playing the OBC special.
There you go. You know damn well. Damn well. Look, this is the 10-year anniversary of Enter the Gungeon.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
It's been out. It came out in 2016, and I just recently checked how many hours I've dropped into Enter the Gungeon. According to the PlayStation, I've played that game for over 900 hours.
I was about to say, is it about as much time as we dropped into Monster Hunter, or as much time as I dropped into Dynasty Warriors?
Into Wilds, I've dropped 947. 947 hours there, 905 in Enter the Gungeon. Which, when it's like, oh, that's a crazy amount of time. It's like, well, it's like, it's all relative. It took me 900 hours over 10 years. Right?
I was going to say,
right?
keep in mind for those, because I had to look it up because I am terrible with math. That is 37 and a half days of gameplay.
Also, how much was Enter the Gungeon when it first released?
Oh, geez.
$20?
Was it 15?
15?
Is that one of the magic price
Let's
points?
say $14.99. Yeah, you got well over your value on that, sir.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah, no, I made that bad boy cook. Yep.
15.
Oh man, you know, I actually have a small amount of trivia before we move on regarding Enter the Gungeon. So I was literally one of the best players in the world at Enter the Gungeon. Not a joke. There are features in that game that are there because I told the developers to put them there. So
Was
later on,
one of them a day counter for playtime?
no, it was the biggest feature that I put in there because this also came out the same year that Darkest Dungeon came out. If you didn't know, like, oh wow, 2016 was a big year. But along the way, I discovered a couple of major bugs, and one of those bugs was I can complete the entire game in 4 runs. Like, get all the endings, the works, 4 runs, boom, I can just do it, which the developers didn't know was possible. And it causes a visual bug in the breach where certain pixel assets don't show up. Like, there's supposed to be a wooden platform and a bunk bed. The platform doesn't appear because the visual progression of your hub changes based on the number of runs and failed runs at that, indicating they've been there for a while. But that doesn't happen. No one dies in my runs. I do it in 4 runs, and so the game is like, it starts freaking out. They're like, we didn't even know you could do this in 1 run. Like, get everything you need to, you know, go confront the past of the characters. Second thing, if you do challenge mode, they add modifiers to every single room. And because both this and Darkest Dungeon were popping, right, and we were really famous for being difficult games, I reached out to Dodge Roll. I was like, you know, what would be really good crossover content between you and Darkest Dungeon would be, I'm like, Darkest Dungeon is famous for heroes dying of heart attacks from too much stress. I was like, what if one of the challenges is high stress? I'm like, so they walk into that room, they get hit with high stress. No matter how many hearts you have, you get dropped to half a heart. If you get hit again in the next 5 seconds, boom, heart attack, you're dead. They loved it. So it's in the game.
You can thank him, everyone.
Oh, let me tell you, I did challenge mode one time. One time I cleared it once. I was like, I ain't never doing that shit again. I was like, what is wrong with me? I was like, Jesus, that heart attack is hard. Because you just got to be on top of your shit. Like nope.
So you had a moment where you're like, I'm a horrible person.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, I made this mistake. Why did I do that to them? But yeah, it even shows the stress icon from Darkest Dungeon when that debuff is applied to you. So that's just my weird little fact. That talking to them, I was like, let's do it. And they were like, yeah, that is a good idea. That'd be fun. Oh no, people are pissed at me over that.
I was like, heck yeah, that's a good idea. That'd be fun.
Right.
Everybody disliked that.
Yeah, because, you know, it encourages you to just stay on your toes, and it's only 5 seconds, and then you'll get your health back. But it's just that, hey, be on top of your shit for the next 5 seconds. Nope. I've been clapped by it plenty of times myself. I'm a genius. Oh no.
Sweet. GQ, what about you, man? What you been playing?
Honestly, I've been
Or just the game of life and you're ready to roll on to the next topic?
I just been going through the motions. I was going through the DLC portion of Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. Just giving it a lot of praise, giving it its flowers. It's one of my favorite games right now. Just brings me back to PS2 era. And after that, I actually just installed Elden Ring Night Rain, and I'm giving that a shot. I suck at it, but I'm having fun. And one of the things that I'm noticing about this game that is actually really fun is the idea of discovery, right? Like exploring and trying to like playing it by trial by error and like just looking for different things. And something about what's great about this one, and just in general from software games, you don't know what to expect if you go in blind, and it's always like a weird different experience, right? Sometimes like something's happening in the game just in the lobby, and I'm like, this wasn't there before. And that's like really entertaining to me when I hear that stuff. So anyway, yeah, let's go to our next segment here. the Memory Card Chronicles as always. So if it's your first time here, where you're in for a treat, it's time to open up the vaults, dust off those cartridges, and fire up those nostalgia engines. Memory Card Chronicles is next, where we travel through the exact week in gaming history, one day at a time. Here's how it works. All right. For each day of the week, one of the Academy of Faculty chooses a game that dropped on that date, a date that left a mark, made a memory, or changed the way we play. So just something that we can remember. We're not just talking facts, dates, we're talking stories, okay? Moments, sleepless nights, couch co-op chaos. Chaos is key for me in this one. The times gaming wrapped itself around our lives and refused to let go. So sit back, power up your nostalgia, and let's jump through 7 days of gaming history through the eyes of the Academy itself. Class, welcome to Memory Card Chronicles. Let's load up those saved files. Which one should I load up today? I think the GameCube. That is Memory Card Chronicles. All right. So what do we have for the first one here? Ooh. All right. So on January 11th,
Ooh.
looks like we got The Getaway Black Monday here, and this was Nick's choice.
That was my choice. I chose the PS2 release in 2005 on this day. Look, I was really into the London crime movies that kind of came out a couple years before this one. This was 05. I'm thinking, like Snatch and Lock, Stock. This that kind of like gritty underground London kind of feel, like the atmosphere of those Guy Ritchie films during that era, right? Yeah. This game, the first one especially, but this game, both of them just kind of captured that same kind of feel because it was pretty realistic at the time. You go back and look at it now, it's a little rough. But I remember trying the first Getaway when I was testing consoles at GameStop. So this one kind of just stood out to me as like a series I really wanted to try. It's one of the reasons I kind of stuck with a lot of like the GTA clones. I gave them a try. This kind of felt similar to that, but it was a lot more like focused, a lot more kind of aimed in on the narrative, especially in the second one. The second one, the narrative was pretty much the best thing about it because it didn't do a lot of things great. It did a lot of things okay, but I mean, the mechanics, kind of a very bare bones UI in Black Monday as well, kind of made it confusing to newcomers. Anytime you kind of like look at like, hey, was this game any good? You're going to get a lot of people in the past and more recent like retro reviews talking about it where it's like, hey, the style of this is cool. It sold well. The driving was better than the first game, which was super annoying in the first game. But man, it's got a lot of like little issues that go on with it. But yeah, after trying the first one, testing consoles, I really, really wanted to try the second one when it came out. So again, story, ambition. This one had multiple protagonists. So I mean, it predated what GTA 5 did by a fair amount. But it was nowhere near as big as that, obviously. But yeah, man, weird bugs, weird mechanics, very confusing. And I remember very specifically the stealth missions in this game sucked. I hated them. They're one of those ones where it's just like, it takes you out of the game so badly. You're just like, I like this, but remove this entire part, please, because it's destroying my entire love or any entertainment that I'm getting. But yeah, like I said, you can see the gameplay there. Like for the time, pretty cool. But it's just like, yeah, going back, it's a little rougher. But if I remember right, too, like learning a little bit more about this, it was kind of true to form to London as well. Like it was mapped out, so it's pretty realistic. So again, anyone who knows me or has been on our podcast and had talked to me before, that kind of virtual tourism game where they have that kind of realism where you could feel like you can be immersed in these areas, something that really appeals to me. So surprise, surprise, I picked this for my game on this day.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like I seen the first one a lot on our shelves when we worked together. Didn't they even do like a VR of this also? Wasn't it just
that sounds right? I think they did on PSVR, if I remember right, because that sounds familiar, but don't quote me on that. It's been a while since I did anything with this series.
Yeah. I just saw someone get run over, and it looked like they just got hoovered up by that front fender.
Yep, they just got ashed. It's that Thanos bumper.
Animations though, key.
Yeah, I mean, look. This is 2005. Okay, again, it's the story. It's the
head is
atmosphere.
huge.
Yeah.
Did every single one of us work at GameStop at some point in history?
They have our DNA over there.
We are known.
Yeah, our DNA is.
It's embedded.
We'll have to see who worked there longest, but yes, I'm pretty sure we all did.
All right, The Getaway. I never played the second one, but I did play the first one for a little bit as like a tester. Like I just tested it.
We all managed to get away from GameStop is what happened.
Whether we decided to of our own volition or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Precisely.
Next one here, the same day, Ace. So you got a classic. It's what the kids refer to as a banger.
Certified Hood Classic.
There
Slaps.
you go.
Well, now
Floating
my pick from ye old memory card is GameCube release of Resident Evil 4. Now, as much as I enjoyed what I played of the Resident Evil series, I'm not I wasn't the biggest fan. But one thing that Resident Evil 4 definitely did that can't be understated is that this game was actually one of the earliest, if not the first, but again, definitely one of the earliest to actually utilize a third-person over-the-shoulder camera for their action. And that one technique right there, that one bit of kit, pretty much went on to revolutionize third-person action games going forward.
Ace is understating this, but as the historian who knows way too much about this kind of crap, I can tell you that's how influential Resident Evil 4 is on video games and Capcom as a whole. There were very few games that utilized an over-the-shoulder third-person camera because nobody really knew you could do that and have it work in the first place. If you go back to before this point in history and look at other shooters, most of them are going to kind of have that standard directly behind you third-person camera if you're going to do some sort of shooting. Turns out things were kind of difficult, right? Early 3D gaming is not as clean as we wished it was. But this was a huge revolutionary change that just really took the rest of the industry by storm and said, yeah, we can just move you, right? And move you just over to the left or to the right, depending, and letting you do shoulder switching and things like that. But this game right here was practically the progenitor of that concept, right? And also many people know this, some people don't, the younger people don't, but Resident Evil 4, what we have as Resident Evil 4 originally as a concept is what gave birth to Devil May Cry. It's a weird thing. Yeah, way back when they first started working on Resident Evil 4, it was like had a very different character and all that, and they were like, this isn't very Resident Evil, but this is a good idea, let's keep running with it. And it kind of split off in development, and that's how we got Devil May Cry 1.
To be honest, like even you are understating just a little bit. This game was seismic when it came out. It was a seismic shift. You felt, as someone in the retail industry at the time, you felt a seismic shift in the industry when this happened. You can look at points in gaming history where this game releases and it changes the trajectory of the industry. This was one of them.
I remember working in GameStop before its release and the demo dropped, right? And when homie came out with that chainsaw and lit us up, we knew we were playing something special.
What about that chainsaw controller too to this day?
That big ass chainsaw controller that Capcom put out is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen, and it's brilliant. It's like, why would you do that? It's like, and everyone says it's the most uncomfortable controller of all time, but it does technically work.
Yeah.
But what's so important about this, what is so important about Resident Evil 4 is that this is a complete top to bottom reinvention of an established franchise, and we hadn't really seen someone attempt something like this before. It's like Resident Evil had long been, fixed camera angles and pre-rendered backgrounds, and they threw all of that out and came here, and we were like, I don't know if this is going to be good. And then you play that Village demo and you getting mobbed, and next thing you know, you're like, oh no, this is scary. It's a different kind of scary, but it feels like Resident Evil. It captured the essence of Resident Evil, right? And
Even as someone who
I think
didn't
that's
play a
huge.
lot of Resident Evil, this grabs you. It didn't, not a lot of games did it this well with this much atmosphere that it kind of
Mhm.
crossed those boundaries of like the games that you're into. I want to give this a try. This put GameCube on the map. Whenever we were
Yep.
selling GameCubes, people wanted this game. It was a flagship. Even
It's
though it
a
was third
system
party,
seller.
yeah, it was the system seller. And I saw Andre in chat mentioning Max Payne. That was like the one before this that I played that was third person that had like atmosphere that pulled me in, that drew me in. And that's why I gave Resident Evil a try after seeing people play it. I'm like, this gives me that same vibe. This is something different. This is something fresh. But yeah, looking back, it's hard to state how important this game was, but it really, really was. And that's why people were clamoring for a remake for so long.
Yeah, and not just with, you know, how it quite literally changed the game, but you know, Pi also brings up a very good point in the YouTube chat about how it was pretty polarizing with, you know, again, with that transition to the more, you know, more active over the shoulder camera and just the more active fields. It changed up the controls, and a lot of people weren't used to it.
Yeah, if you put that comment like highlighted, the discussions ended pretty fast. That is paramount to what this game was. Any kind of complaints disappeared when you realized how good of a game it was. Speaking of how good a game it
I was gonna
was,
say it's so good that they had to resell it to you multiple times on generations.
Ooh,
it
boy,
was the
this
Skyrim.
thing,
It was
it
the
came out
Skyrim before
everywhere.
Skyrim.
Oh boy, how I don't even remember off the top of my head, but it was Skyrim before Skyrim. Okay, like boy, they dropped that everywhere because it was a GameCube exclusive, and then eventually it did come to the PS2.
I had the Steelbook on PS2 for this one.
Yeah, and I think there was a big controversy about it because it said only for GameCube up on this, and then it wasn't. So it was really really rough.
To give people an example of how many times Resident Evil 4 has released, it came out on the GameCube, PlayStation 2, Windows, Wii, iOS, Zeebo. I don't even know what the hell that is.
What?
The Zeebo.
So,
Got me over
Yeah.
here like Snoop Dogg going, who?
Oh wow! Yeah, no, I remember the look of this thing when it came out.
The Zeebo, the PS3, Xbox 360, Android, PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and the Oculus Quest 2. This shit has come out so many times because it's that damn solid. Like, no, everyone loves it. Its first release was on that day in 2005. Its most recent release was in 2021.
Good God.
always you just made that up.
A homie got his gal pregnant when he was like, I'm gonna play Resident Evil 4. He got his girl pregnant, and then he has a 16-year-old, and he's like, oh boy, I'm gonna play Resident Evil 4. And the 16-year-old said, Mom said it's my turn on the Oculus.
Oh no.
It's like, that's crazy. That
It's
is
that
lunacy.
thing. That looks like
Speaking
a
of
bandwidth
lunacy,
adapter.
The Zeebo.
Oh dear God.
Zeebo. My goodness.
It was a very early digital only console launched in Brazil and Mexico in 2009.
Wait, is this the one that has the really weird Double Dragon game that only came out in this console? I think this
don't
was
know.
I think this was the one because there's a Lost Double Dragon game that was only on one system, and nobody heard of it. So
Yeah, it was only in Mexico and
You are
Brazil.
correct, sir.
Apparently,
Yes.
it was planned for sale in China, but was never done.
Oh yeah. And yeah, a great reminder. And for good measure, after all that, they did a remake.
Zeebo remake.
Oh, Resident Evil 4.
Oh,
Yeah, and then on top of it, we got the remake, which dropped, and we're like, it's outstanding. It's just, man, it's. I think it's fair to say that it's one of the greats
it's up
in
there.
just gaming
It's up
history. The fact that it's endured this long, and even the little micro tweaks and changes that people were very afraid of, right? They're like, oh, we're gonna update some things, and it's like, oh, well, they found out that they can let you move around and shoot, and it doesn't break the principles of the gameplay, right? And they made just some little style changes here, there, but at the core, it's still Resident Evil 4. It's an enduring property at this point. Like, there's no way around it. It's a cross generational game. Even when, like we said, the remake just came out, brand new people who literally never played the original because they were small children when it came out, but played this and they're like, this game is amazing. We're like, we know. Like, welcome to the club, brother. Like, no, it's that strong. It's a contender for one of the greatest of all time.
All right. The next one here on the 12th is
My wife said I made that up.
Is one of my greatest of all time. This is one of my personal favorites here. To no one's surprise, if everybody knows that Ace loves Dynasty Warriors, GQ Asian Dude
Here we go.
loves SimCity. So, SimCity 4 came out on the 12th of January in 2004, 3 years after I graduated high school. That's crazy. This was basically the long-awaited sequel to SimCity 3000, which I played relentlessly on the school's computer. Right, and this was gonna be like the big everything, more of everything, like cities on cities. It's gonna be like a whole continent of cities combined together. I was super excited for it. From what I remember, like I remember just like putting hours into this game when it came out, and then basically like thinking to myself, like if I was new to this series and I wasn't a fan, would I know what the hell is happening? And even I think like with games that come with lots of detail, it also kind of like exerts a sense of intimidation for newcomers as well. So I always say if you like SimCity, start with the OGs, but the new one does a really good job of kind of like introducing you to the game's mechanics. But Ford is like the peak. Some argue that Ford is the best one from the series, but a lot of people say like SimCity, the latest one that they discontinued, that is the best one because it's so streamlined. So, and now they just have a mobile game, which is unfortunate. So
I've been a fan of the series for so long that I literally have thought about building a Windows 95 retro setup just so I can play Sim Town.
yeah,
Like that was my start, was the OG Sim Town,
Man.
like the kid-friendly version of the first game, and then I got into the actual original SimCity. But it was, yeah, this still holds a place near and dear in my heart. Anytime I see the visuals and stuff, it's the reason I tried like City Skyline when it came out, and any kind of like city builder. It's always because of like those days I spent playing SimCity back in the day.
Heck
yeah. City Builders. Yeah, go ahead, Ace.
I was just about to say, like, even though it's one of the comparatively newer ones, again, it's another genre of game that I didn't really get that deep into, but just looking at this game, it takes me back to when I was dabbling in SimCity, and especially like SimCity 2000. And you just get that feeling, and then the moment you mentioned putting together a Windows 95 retro setup, I'm like, man, if I manage to do something like that, I will probably have at least one of the SimCity games on it, along with Rise of the Triad, Redneck's Rampage, and Superhero League Hoboken, New Jersey.
Some other certified bangers from our Memory Card Chronicles.
Hell yes.
I can't believe the heresy I'm hearing. Out of all these fine gentlemen, not one of them said that the best SimCity is SimCity on the Super Nintendo. And I don't know if we can be friends after this.
Yeah,
Well-
that is my intro to SimCity, and I actually did not know how to play it until someone had to teach me how to play it, because I was like, why come my buildings aren't building anything? Because I don't have power, stupid. Like,
I
Right.
remember SimCity came out on Super Nintendo, but
launch title.
brother, I was too busy playing Donkey Kong Country.
Oh,
Look, and I'll be honest, I don't appreciate the shame. My parents were poor. I couldn't have a Super Nintendo, so my bad.
Like, I was,
like we were poor
I was
children.
playing Donkey Kong Country, and when I wasn't on the game, my grandmother was playing Caesar's Palace.
Oh, nice.
Damn.
Honestly, I thought you were gonna say Battle Chest.
Grandma said it was her turn on
Oh
the
no,
Super
Battle
Nintendo.
Chess is definitely
okay?
going on that retro setup though. If I put it together,
Chess, you know what's up. You
that's
know what-
happening.
Okay, what's the next one here? Hold on. Okay, this one is whose is this one? Nick. All right,
This is me.
this is you. All right, I'm gonna throw it on the screen here. It is
You can throw it on the
Lost-
screen. I'm going to make it quick so we can talk about plenty of other fun things tonight. But I want to call this one, specifically the 360 version, is the one that I got in 2006. For me, I remember this game being in a demo unit at my store, and the first thing that stuck out to me was the graphics. For the time, this game was incredibly pretty to look at with the gameplay of it. It was something that stuck out to me as well because it was my first like real recognizing like moment of mechanics that weren't exactly what I used to play because I was used to a lot more like Western devs kind of thing. This was a Capcom release. And when you're looking at the gameplay of it, it feels a lot like any other Capcom game from this era in the next 15 years for these like third person shooters, right? The big drive of this one was just like it looked so pretty, it was something different, and the thermal mechanics that are in this game where you have to actually stay warm to stay alive as you're like pumping your score through, and then you're killing enemies to stay warm as well, running around in the deep snow and seeing your feet in the snow as well, or seeing it get, kicked up. It was just something that was different than anything I was used to at the time. So it was kind of like my first like real memory of just like, oh, this is something like I'm not used to playing. I'm in a video game store now. I need to start expanding my horizons. So I got to check this out. And like I said, the Coda Paint, the visuals are what grabbed me first. And then I ended up loving it and then being disappointed by the third game when it came out because the third one was just so
yeah.
terrible.
Well, I would argue that RE4 had something to do with the third game being the way it is.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah, chasing those trends. And like our comfort says in the chat, but fugitive mode in the multiplayer for this original game was awesome. You're being chased by everyone else and you had to survive. That was something that was like different at the time that I completely forgot about until I was pulling this up on Memory Card Chronicles. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I remember actually playing that and enjoying it. So yeah, just something different, man. I just wanted to call that out. Some little point in gaming history.
nice. Anybody else have experience with Lost Planet?
My brother swears by it. He has sworn by the game. He's like, no, Lost Planet is awesome. And I still haven't played it. But every time I hear about it, I only ever hear good things about this game. But it's like, it fits in this weird Capcom niche where it's deeply adored, but didn't get the reach that it needed for some reason.
I think it was something that was different. And again, this was 360 launch title. Like this came out on a console that didn't really have a lot of like, let's be honest, with the original Xbox, it was mostly focused on Western devs. There wasn't a ton of more like international devs coming in. So this was like Capcom being pulled over, JRPGs on the 360 as well becoming a thing. Like this was Xbox's shift to gather more of this like larger market kind of space. So I think it being a exclusive when it was for a fan base at the very beginning that wasn't used to those kind of titles, it just didn't grab on. But it sold well enough that they made the sequel. And like you said, people talk really well about it. It's one of those things though, like now that you mentioned that, whenever I think of this kind of style game that I want to go back and play, I'd rather put in Vanquish. It was just like Vanquish was like that much more distilled awesome of the same kind of feel, granted not in the snow, but that fast frenetic like thing. And whenever you need to heal in that game, you just smoke a cigarette. Like it's just like you can't get past that vibe. I love it so much.
Right.
The Iron Comfort on chat said second one was basically Monster Hunter. I agree with you because it was basically Monster Hunter and Freedom Wars combined.
Yeah.
Lost Planet 2. So maybe we'll get that back. Maybe we'll get a Lost Planet Monster Hunter kind of cool game from Capcom. That'd be kind of sweet, all right.
Yeah.
So the next one here is actually another is mine as well for the 13th, and this was on the Sega Genesis. A game by Game Refuge Incorporated, whose artist is Brian F. Collin, artist of the Rampage series / Pigskin / Arch Rivals, and was that Xenophobe? So what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, Xenophobe. Yeah, so I loved all his games. His art really stood out.
I remember this cover art. Yeah, that's why I rented it back in the day from Hollywood Video.
Matter of fact, Nick, in 1994, I did not own a Genesis, and what I had done to play this game was I borrowed my friend's Sega Genesis because he was like over it, right? He had Sonic 2, Terminator 2 arcade game, and some like weird fighting game I never heard of. Not Eternal Champions, chat. Don't worry about that. But it was really weird. And so I technically had a Sega, so I went to the game store and rented this game because we weren't rich, so we weren't just gonna buy another console. So I borrowed my friends to borrow this at the game store, which is super interesting at the time. Now, I'm going to share the gameplay here, and this is like one of the coolest things about this game is just its distinct look of like old comic art style. Yeah, Brian F. Collin, awesome guy. We're actually buddies on Facebook, and I try to chat with him as much as possible about like the next project. I think it's like Major Snafu is the sequel.
Oh, great. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, General Chaos and Major Snafu. But like this artwork, when I was a kid, I was like, this just stuck out so much, and I like it attracted me to go play it. And I know I've seen his like work before with Rampage and Pigskin. Pigskin's a rugby game, by the way, with Vikings and Knights and Trolls. It's pretty cool. And it was just like one of those unique games. And I hopefully one day, like we have a Brian F. Collins / Game Refuge bundle, right? Because I would totally buy that because that's super fun. Look at the
Or maybe
person.
we just do a community game night. We just run through some really quickly together.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun actually, and kind of feature some of this stuff because this was one of my favorite games on the Sega Genesis. Like one of the reasons why I wanted the Sega. So
Speaking of, if you're not in our Discord, definitely join because we want to get the community in on those kind of game nights if you're ever interested, especially with the people that are talking in chat tonight about some of this stuff, like reminding them. I'm starting to wonder now too, like what that fighting game was on Genesis that you played, because there was some crap fighting games on the Genesis.
From what I remember, the guy in the cover was like a bony dude with like two swords and like a pilgrim hat. I think it was called Hakan or something. Was that a game on the Genesis?
I don't think it was.
You're talking about Chakan the Forever
Chakan.
Man?
Oh, Chakan. Oh
Here it
my
is.
god.
Yeah, I was close. I was missing a C there, chat.
There you go. No, I consider that one of the hardest games ever made. When people get mad about Dark Souls, I'm like, you have no clue what the fuck you're talking about, man. Chakan the Forever Man. Ugh.
I'm glad that someone do that. And that's fantastic. That's like one of my favorite things is to talk about a game, and it's like little features, like, oh, the box art was this, and then somebody was like, yeah, it's Chakan. I'm like, yes, that's the one. That's awesome. Beautiful.
Of the Genesis.
All right, so what's the next one here? Yeah, I'm looking for. Also, check it out. He's on Game Refuge on Facebook. I don't know if he has a website, but he does sell his artwork. So check it out, support it. He's still doing great work, and he is doing like I believe like a Kickstarter for his next game. So yeah, just take a peek, say what's up, and hopefully one of these days we invite him to the show.
Like this art style, this whole vibe just screams Sega Genesis. I mean, this is what you call timeless.
Well, and you talking about some of those other titles that he's worked on, and reminding me of stuff that I played, like Mutant Football League. This was kind of like off kilter, kind of like takes on classic sports or games. That's why we like talking about like Smash TV so much.
That's another truth. All truth there. All right, we're gonna fast forward a little bit to 2009, the same day, with a game I feel that should come back in a different form, though.
Oh, I'd like to hear what form you think this one is. But this one was my choice.
Go ahead.
We'll save your spin on it. Maybe that'd be a really good rhetorical, like just taking a twist on something like this. Anyway, this title for me is an extreme prime example of IP bait. I love Lord of the Rings. I love Battlefield. Star Wars Battlefront, rather, not Battlefield. I do love Battlefield, but different. Battlefront. So Conquest seemed like it would have been perfect for me to end up playing. And I did like this game. It's made by Pandemic. But this one I remember very clearly because the maps, the class system, the Lord of the Rings fan service, and the sheer scale of this game was fantastic. My senior year in high school for my AP English course, we got to choose because it was a year-long course, because it was a half class. It was like a half period class. Mm-hmm. So you had the entire school year. We got to choose a author that we would choose to cover their background. I think it was like 5 different reports over the course of the year. And I chose J.R.R. Tolkien for mine. So by the end of it, because when I was graduating was right about the time the movies were, huge. So it was really fun to kind of talk about it. So I was really into this game when it came out. I'm really into the lore and interested into Tolkien's background and just learning a lot about it. So this seemed like a slam dunk, but it definitely felt more of like a bare bones Battlefront game. And to be honest, the like evil campaign felt the same as the good campaign. It was really underbaked. So it's just one of those things that, we love to talk about on this channel how much we love Muso fighters. This had repetition in it that was kind of worse than that. It didn't feel as good as some of those Muso fighters where you can kind of turn off your brain. This one got older a little bit quicker. But I mean, I wasn't too concerned with that because, hey, Lord of the Rings. But yeah, man, like I said, this one to me felt like a little bit of an IP bait. It could have been so much more. They had the scale right. They had these big boss monsters. They had everything to make this like banger of a game, but then it ended up kind of just being mid in the end. James, how were you going to change it up?
I don't know. I was gonna say like this game can totally come back and as a platform, choose a faction and contribute to the war cause, right? Like Helldivers 2. Like this fits right into that world. Like people just log in, see how our army's doing, log back out. They can choose the Dark Lord or Men, Kingdom of Men faction. And within those factions, you have the dwarves, elves, Uruk-hai, orcs. Bro, there's like so much they can do with this, especially if you're a Lord of the Rings fan. So that's for now.
Fair enough.
All right.
Again, that's not to say that it was bad, but it was something where I felt like, man, this could have been so much more. I wanted it to be so good. It felt like on the face value, it would have been amazing. It's just like, just wish it would have been more.
Yeah, and Ace, honestly, like
this is Pandemic Games.
This is probably their start. If they were going to do a Dynasty Warriors Lord of the Rings, they'd probably look into this and see what's going on with it. So.
Oh no, I just Dynasty Warriors.
I had no clue this was a Pandemic joint, though.
It was,
right? Which we talked about them last week. Which game was it that came out? Was it Mercenaries?
It was Mercenaries Playground of Destruction.
Okay, so it was the first one. Okay, so weird how and right, almost a year later, like I'm not sure what the exact day was, but yeah, it's like those guys were popping, man. They were trying to pay rent,
right? Because they
were making damn sure.
It was a lot at once too, because they had Battlefront in 04, then it was Mercenaries in 05, Destroy All Humans in 05 as well, Battlefront 2 at the end of 05. And then went into Full Spectrum Warrior 10 Hammers, which was the sequel in 06. 06 also had Destroy All Humans 2. 08 was Mercenaries 2. Then 09 was Lord of the Rings Conquest.
Ooh, somebody had a mortgage payment, and they were not going to let that shit slip.
Contracts on contracts.
Well, and their last one that they had in 09 that they developed was probably one of my favorites, underappreciated, which is the Saboteur.
Oh, yes, of course.
That's
brilliant. I got it sitting 4 feet from me.
I got 5 kids to feed. That's right, Jagos.
Wow.
I thought you had 4 kids to feed.
The thing about the Saboteur, like if someone had not told me what that game was, I would be like, it's just another generic game, But I won't spoil it for those that don't know. But for the next one here, Oliver just added this for which day? On the 13th as well. This was my you know how we say Far Cry is Skyrim with guns? This is what I call this is Baldur's Gate with guns.
Yes, sir. Boy. So I added for today because again, this is nothing one of those. Oh man, I was working the day that came out. I was working at the game store when it dropped. So Fallout, Brotherhood of Steel. I don't think I've seen a game piss off more people in existence than this game. Like, this is the one. If you go into a Fallout forum and you mention this game, you need to duck and cover because you are going to get fucking booed and tomatoed.
I don't know. Hit the Bandai Namco forums. Ask about Soul Calibur 5.
I'm telling you, this is a big one for the sheer disdain for this game. But what Brotherhood of Steel actually is, so we had Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance come out, right, which was a big departure, but people really liked that, right? The top-down hack and slash quasi RPG, but more action, and then it was followed up with Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2, and of course oh God, what is it? What is the franchise called? Is it Untold Legends?
Yep.
Is that
Yep.
what I'm thinking
Untold
of?
Legends.
And Champions of Norath. They're all built on this same engine, right?
No wonder.
And they were like, "Oh, you know what? Let's try and do Fallout, right?" And it is such a massive departure from the established Fallout games. You know, this is several years before Bethesda is going to acquire the IP, right? And you know, this is just a part of that weird part in Interplay history. You know, things were starting to go downhill for them in general, and you know, even though they had Fallout 2, Fallout Tactics, right? And then, of course, for the Fallout fans in the audience that know all about the original Fallout 3, just which was codenamed Van Buren, and then to get that canceled and end up with this drove people pure fucking insane. Like, it drove them crazy because they just take cannon, throw them right out the window. They're like, we're going to get in here and have fun with it. But you know what? I'm a mutant. I liked it. I liked what they did with Baldur's Gate. I just liked the gameplay flow, so I was like, I don't care. And it's like I just like Fallout. I like Fallout. I don't care who's making it. Like,
watching the gameplay real quick, it gave me that kind of Marvel Ultimate Alliance feel.
it's very, very, very different, right? It's real run and gun. It's not a long sprawling RPG. It's none of those things. It is as massive of a departure as Resident Evil 4 would be to, you know, original Resident Evil. You'd be like, yo, how are these two things related, right? But no, that's just kind of how it worked, and it was a divisive game. And if I recall, it wasn't a full priced retail game either. I think it was like a $30 title when it released, just because. What those things?
All right.
And then, of course, I have a second release
Here it
for
comes.
today that he's going to bring up, because I just want to name this the worst named video game in history. It's called Phrasing. And watch your language. Called Water Sports for the Wii. And it was a EU only release, as you can see on the screen.
I wonder what this game's about.
It's quite literally exactly what it says on the box. Just windsurfing, you know, jet boot fair, and I don't know what that means, but wakeboarding, kite surfing. But it's like, y'all could have picked a better
Hey
name,
man, there's some
You just
good names out there for video games. Like, did you forget? You're gonna call it water sports, but you're not gonna call it Wargasm.
like,
Remember what that game's
no,
about.
you know why? Because wargasm is clever word.
How about
these guys just said?
in that
"Fuck
case?
it."
How about Wild Woody?
Good night, everybody.
I'm just saying, we had Wave Race 64. You're like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool, right? It could have been like, no, I can't come up with a better name. I was gonna say Water Champions, and that just sounds questionable. Water athletics, all these other things. They said, fuck it, water sports. You're like, don't you think that's a little taboo? They're like, who gives a shit?
Oh, my.
Right? Look, why is it Wild Woody? That guy's a pencil. How come it's not just?
Kind of reminds me
Wild
of
Pencil?
Dynamite Heady. I wonder if
I mean,
that
in the
is-
rush, in the rush to find your new mascot, don't forget about Wild Woody.
Wild Woody.
Gosh.
Yeah,
I'm gonna rename water sports to Moist
Oh,
Athletics.
That's even worse,
There
dude.
we
Oh.
go.
all right, you're done. All right.
All right, let's move on, please. Oh God.
Boo this man!
Boom.
All right, 114 is one of the most legendary games to be hated after its first release. Can you guys guess which game it is? Well, if you don't know, it is the Adventures.
If you don't know, now you know.
Now you know. The Adventures of Link, Zelda 2. A lot of people talked about how they didn't like this game over the first one because it was so different.
I picked this one just because I wanted to call out this was the Famicom release in '87. The only thing I wrote down was this is the one I had to come back to later in life to really appreciate. because I definitely had the OG like gold card Zelda 1. It was one of the few games my dad had when I started playing the NES before we started picking up other games. So when I had the chance to kind of choose one of the other games I wanted to get once we were actually able to buy some games with our own like allowance, this was one of the ones I got because I loved the original Zelda so much. And this was not what I wanted. side scrolling, I am error, like all of it, like everything you've heard about it since. This was just not what I was looking for at all. I wanted the same play of the first game, and it was my first kind of like feel of just like I can't love a series because it's just going to change. But that's all I'm going to really say about it. I know that we've talked ad nauseum about this one, but this day in gaming history, it came out for the Famicom in Japan.
Awesome. Yeah, it's
You know, I just always thought that Zelda 2 was interesting because it's also kind of part of a weird window. It's when it's part of this period in history where we started to realize that translation problems were very, very serious. Because Zelda 2 could lead to a lot of confusion due to a poor translation, right? Leading to, just the player getting lost and things like that. I am error is a complete mistranslation. No, the guy's name is Errol. But because of the translation problems, we're like, what does that mean? Or like, is this a bug? So, well, technically it's a bug, right? Similar to the translation issues that come along with Simon's Quest.
Yeah,
2,
that was the other one I was going to
right?
call out.
And exactly. And, not having the manual, not realizing that the manual, I believe, tells you that some people will lie to you about things and they will be feeding you false information, and you need to be able to realize and recognize when that's happening so you can kind of just start to discern the truth and make your way through the game. But you lose track of that, and again, bad translations make these two games, a part of legendary franchises, some of the most difficult and hated by the most people, right? Because of those things. But I think Zelda 2, man, that game beats you up. Like, this is when I talk about, I'm like, nah, we need to go back in time to the period where Nintendo hated children. Like, what do you mean? I was like, oh no, they fucking hated kids at this point. They're like, you're going to play through this Zelda. You're going to go through these battles. You're going to get kicked in the face. You're like, but can't I just go back and save in a nice, careful way? No, you're going to do it. They're like, we got your money. We don't give a fuck. It's your problem now, kid. No, those games, like, no, they'll mess you up. They'll mess you up emotionally
Hey man,
forever.
this is
And
very
then,
much an argument or
ironically,
thing that's sad, where it's just like life imitates art. I really wish I would have had a manual that told me that people will lie to me. Zelda was trying to tell me early. I wasn't having it because I just didn't like the way it played.
life lessons.
That's on
in
me.
video game.
but the absolute good news is that the companies did learn their lesson from the difficulties of these releases, because go on, in Castlevania 3 is well loved and well regarded. Dracula's Curse, right? Changing between different characters and different routes. People loved it, and they did not do the Castlevania 2 thing again. And obviously, Zelda 3, which is Legend of Zelda Link to the Past, is regarded as one of the greatest games ever made.
True.
So sometimes it's okay to fuck up.
And it becomes
Sometimes
a
it's okay.
topic of conversation like years and years later. Look at this. So
There you go.
speaking of topic of conversation, the next game is something to be had here. Gee, I wonder which one this is. I think this one is Ace on the 14th of January.
To absolutely no one's surprise. Oh, God.
Oh yeah, that Teletubbies game was a certified banger.
Why, it's a Dynasty Warriors game, Ace. I found the cover for you.
Extreme Dynasty Warriors game.
It's so extreme.
Because
Look at
you know that Tinky Winky was bugged. He was way overpowered.
Oh, my God.
Why do I remember his name?
That's a good question.
Why do I remember?
I just love that they included the weapons in this image.
Absolutely. It's accurate. It's the DLC.
They went the extra mile to include the weapon.
They did the extra bit for Ace because they know how much of a fan he is.
All right, Ace.
But
Dynasty Warriors 3 Extreme Teletubbies. What you got?
Shut up. But get into the nitty gritty of this though. Like this
Can't
actually
take it
seems
seriously,
to be
anything
kind of
he has to say.
following a trend that we've got set for today. That being games that were major departures from previous entries in their series, and also games that really changed the zeitgeist in major ways. With Dynasty Warriors 3 Extreme Legends, that was the first game in the series where instead of just creating a whole new game with the updates and the additional characters, what they did was they set up the standalone and they implemented what they referred to as the mixed choice system, where if you had data and if you had a physical copy of your previous game, then you could load the information from that and have all of that content remixed and expanded on the new disc. It was literally like one of the first console games to actually have an expansion disc. And it was something
Physical
that Koei
DLC.
Tecmo was able to keep up with until I want to say Dynasty Warriors 5. But I mean, it was a pretty sizable shift in a lot of it was a pretty sizable shift in game design philosophy, especially in regards to, again, expansions on non-PC platforms, because it was one of those things that kind of opened the floodgates, actually made it possible.
Was that
And
Ace? Was that advertised like when they released the game? Because you know how like sometimes gamers are silly and they're like they don't understand, so they think it's just the same game again, right? And they don't know it's an expansion, or you can use the previous game to update this game. Was
if
that
I
very
remember
evident?
correctly, they did actually make sure to call that out on the case.
Okay. Pretty cool. Yeah, you said this was an ongoing theme till 5.
Yeah, this actually, no, I take it back. This actually went on until Dynasty Warriors 8.
Oh yeah, because they do Extreme Legends, right? That's right. Yeah, Extreme 8 Extreme Legends is like peak Dynasty Warriors, in my opinion. So good.
Yeah.
P good. Well, for more of that, check out Ace's channel. He's got plenty, as you can see on the screen here.
Check out Ace's channel for the follow-up to this image. Are you gonna break out? Because I know you have like some different cosplays. I think that's a missed opportunity there for your next playthrough. Or if all 4 of us play, they have a multiplayer.
Why?
All right. 1997. I'm gonna backpedal a little bit on the PlayStation here with something a little bit cooler. Get it?
Cool Borders.
And
Hell yeah! Look at that cover, dude.
Let's go.
This is of an era. So this one I picked just because this was when I played at a friend's place. I didn't have access to a PlayStation at home. We couldn't afford one. We were already talking about that. Oliver, don't shame me anymore. Look, cool was in the name, but this game was not. Like going back and watching this gameplay, I forgot how rough it is. Super, super rough. Yeah, like Jagos was saying, 90s extreme, the extreme sports. I was super into snowboarding at this time too. Like one of the first games I got for my N64 was 1080 snowboarding. Like this was like a vibe for me at the time. But yeah, it wasn't as cool as I wanted it to be. Those visuals, I remember the controls being super, super clunky too, but super rough. It did kick off an entire series, so I mean, shout out to them for keeping with it and improving it. I remember playing some of the older ones. I also remember being at the video game store. We had hundreds of copies of Cool Borders, like 3 and 4,
Yeah,
like just sitting around. Those were the ones that were like 99 cents that people would buy just to swap out the cases on, kind of thing. So it sucks to see that it, maybe didn't have the staying power, but for a time in an era, this was definitely a thing. It was so extreme.
Yeah, everybody had it, and then they even this. I would argue that Cool Borders is the reason why we have 1080 snowboarding on the 64. So.
Yep. I mean, I love the flames behind finish too. Like it's pretty cool. This is Flavor Town, the video game for me.
Flavor Town. We're gonna take you back to the past.
Cool Borders is great. Like there's not a whole lot else to say. It's Cool Borders, man. That was that extreme sports window of time, man. You know, from dropping Cool Borders to Tony Hawk, so much of that stuff just came out too extreme.
Oh
Remember
yeah.
that, right? Where
Extreme.
you got the downhill slalom, and no, like there was just like this whole period where sports, just in general, digital sports was two things. It was cool and
I feel
Well,
like
and-
right?
Go ahead.
Speaking of which, I did finally manage to get around to snatching up Downhill Domination.
yeah, my man. There you go. That's the hidden gem nobody
Retro
knows
Sunday.
about.
Yeah, I mean action sports at that time too, because I remember the first like X Games was mid '90s. I want to say, like
Mhm.
'95, something like that. So I
Mhm.
mean, that was riding the wave. Hey, another one I picked, Andre. I won't talk too much about this because you and I have talked at length about it. The note that I put here for myself was, wait, I have 2 steelbooks for this game. I do. I've got 2 steelbooks for this game. I've mentioned it before, but this was one that kind of threw me for a loop. I had just gotten done revisiting Yakuza 6 at the time, and I'm a huge fan of the series, but when they changed up the combat style, I will freely admit to being one of the people that was not on board when they first announced it. Like, I'm just like, this is not Yakuza. I'm not interested in this. And this was honestly before I realized how much time I was going to put in on Persona 5 and how much I loved turn-based again. So it's just something I wasn't looking for, something that surprised me when I finally did get around to playing it, so much so that I had to go out and buy the Best Buy Steelbook separate, in addition to the Steelbook edition I got, because I am that obsessed with this series. But yeah, no, it was one that it took me a while to get to, just because I was a little close-minded about it, freely admit, and then ended up liking it. So, and of course I've played, Infinite Wealth since then, and Pirate Yakuza, and a little bit of everything. So yeah, man, shout out to that. Came out on this day in Japan in 2020.
Cool. Yeah, stretch for it. That looks
Cool.
really cool from like somebody has not played the Yakuza game. I'm like all about that right now. Looks cool.
Well, and the really cool thing about it too is that it's tied into the character. So Ichiban is a huge fan of the Dynasty Warriors games that he played when he was a kid. So it's kind of cool to see that the theme is like, this is what he's seeing in his head of the
Mm.
fighting that he's doing. So it gave
Dragon
it like this
Quest.
kind of like goofy basis, but as someone who's played games for a long time, you kind of connect with that, where you're just like, oh, that's really cool. He was a huge fan of this. You see how passionate he was about it, always kind of geeking out about it. And it's just like, that informs his worldview. A very meta conversation we won't get into right now. I'm
Yeah.
sure Oliver and I could do that. But yeah, no, it was something that that took a second to warm up to me, and I gave it a shot, and I'm glad I did.
All right. To be fair, okay. Next.
Yeah, the
Speaking
spirit.
of how it looks like in their head, meta, and things of being fans of certain things, Ace, what's the next one?
Look. Oh no!
If Chad hasn't realized, I've been adding the links to the cover art so we'd have it. And anytime I see Ace has Dynasty Warriors now, I have to make sure he doesn't know what I'm
Oh,
putting
dude.
up.
Oh God, why?
Dynasty
Why?
Warriors.
So, jumping back into the Muso well one more time. This day last year was the release of Dynasty Warriors Origins, and again, this is another game that was not only something of a departure from previous games in the series, but also one that most definitely has changed the game going forward. Like, if you were looking for something that's like a true evolution, a true progression of Battlefield action games, the logical extreme in a lot of ways, then Dynasty Warriors Origins is it. And one of the big reasons why I even decided to go ahead and include both games back to back, both 3XL and Origins, is because I'd say by this time next week, or at the very least 2 weeks from now, not only will we have the expansion for Dynasty Warriors Origins, Visions of 4 Heroes, which introduces 2 new weapon sets and 4 new story scenarios, but also the remake for Dynasty Warriors 3 Extreme Legends, so it'll be the complete edition of the game, is coming in March. So it's, kind of that, Muso 2026 kind of vibe. And I'm saving that meme too.
Memes everywhere.
Like Lubu just arrived at Hulao Gate. Oh,
Looking forward to.
How about that? Don't
I haven't played. I only played the demo, but I'm looking forward to actually like putting some hours into this game finally this year. That's like one of my like intentions this year. So looking forward to it
it's gonna be some hours.
for sure. Oh, all right, chat. Save this. Super important. All right, the last one for Memory Card Chronicles is going to be on the 17th of January, and this is my own personal take on Dynasty Warriors. A little game called, if it loads up on the screen here, because it just shows me if it doesn't, a game called Fate Exterra, the Umbral Star. So earlier we were talking about I Am Errol was the thing that was mistakenly translated back in the Adventures of Link. Fate Exterra actually just means Fate Extra with a Japanese accent. Exterra, right? So that's why they call it Exterra.
wow.
So that's another translation there. But this is basically Dynasty Warriors with the characters of the Fate series, which is like one of my favorite series of all time. And if you see this guy's ugly mug, he's like one of my favorite characters in the anime. And if you look at the gameplay, it's very similar to Dynasty Warriors. So Muso has infected every portion of gaming. You attach a brand and aesthetic to it. There's
Total Muso saturation.
Yep, just like this finishing move right here. It's a bitrate nightmare. Yeah, so if you guys are into Fate,
Can't wait for the Resident Evil Muso.
yeah, yeah. If you like the Fate series, you like Dynasty Warriors and pretty colors, this game is gonna check out this game. It's kind of all over the place. It's great. So, as you can see that. All right. Well, guys, that is it. Any last takes on this week's Memory Card Chronicles?
I don't know. I'm just saying, Tinky Winky. Fuck you up. Like, he goes hard. That's all I know. That's what I heard. That's what I heard in the street.
That's
Like,
what you heard in the street.
that's what I heard in the
Okay.
street. It's a rough fucking neighborhood. That one motherfucker is carrying a purse. Like, it's a rough game out there, man. I don't know.
All right, Chad. That's this week's Memory Card Chronicles. All right, Ace, you got something for us? Something to tell chat? What's going on?
Yeah, just taking a little bit of a quick commercial break for some shameless self-promotion. Look, I'm sure y'all have seen it by this point. 3 out of the 4 of us on this show are, currently rocking some rather nice threads, right? But listen, for the folks that actually, do feel so inclined to help keep the lights on and, support the Academy monetarily, it's not like you're going to be coming away from it empty-handed. We've got plenty of merch waiting for you at the Gaming Academy CX, as it were. And if you want the link, I'll go ahead and copy it, post it in the chat for you. But make sure to give this place a visit. That's gqasiandude-shop.fourthwall.com. Pop on in, take a look, level up your style, and support the Academy at the same time. If you're looking for some options as far as what we've got, you can help rep the brand with hoodies, t-shirts, hats, of course, stickers. We got plenty of accessories for your setup. And hey, depending on class feedback, we may add some other items to the store as well. But if anything, go in, check out what we have, see if something strikes your fancy, and we will make sure that it's worth your while. We're not going to advertise something that we're not putting our own confidence behind, right? Everything here is designed with the same energy as the Gaming Academy. It's bold, it's clean, it's stylish. Well, at least 3 of us are, and then you have this jackass right here.
Excellent.
Perfect timing. But all in all, it's built for gamers who care about leveling up IRL as well as in game. So yeah, swing through, grab yours now, show the world your GQ, and remember, dress sharp, live smart, and game on.
And don't forget, if you got our merch, we'd love to see you in it. Send us a
If you
picture.
got it, flaunt it.
God.
Oh, I got one for you.
His DMs are open. The whole time I'm sitting here just like, Ace, dude, don't say it. It's just like, it is so good.
That's
yeah,
nice.
no, we're putting it
that's
on
good.
a mug for him.
That's real good. Yeah.
And just
Okay.
his
No.
face on the Lubu on the Teletubby.
The Lubu Teletubby. There you go.
You know what?
Send.
Keep,
so
keep
good.
your eyes on the store, folks.
Perfect.
All right, Nick, what's this from?
Sega. It's a Sega boot up at the beginning of like the Yakuza games.
Classic. All right, cool. All
Why
right.
is that for me?
It's your cue for quick bites. That's what it is. Because here it is. Where is it? Damn it. It's my fault.
Well, jokes aside, let's get to the news. Quick Bites and Rumor Mill is the Gaming Academy's rapid-fire roundup of the biggest stories, updates, and whispers in the gaming world from this last week. I know we're getting short on time. We want a lot of stuff we want to talk about tonight, so I'll just run through some of the big headlines that have hit this last week just to make sure that you're all caught up on your knowledge and able to chat about things in our Discord with our great community. First and foremost, January 12th is in our rear view mirror, and that means yesterday marked the end of Anthem. The game servers were unplugged, marking the final nail in the coffin of EA and BioWare's online co-op action title. Fans tried to save it, but to no avail. Did anyone besides me play it at launch? Because I definitely did.
I did.
Yep.
Too broke.
Too broke.
I enjoyed it.
Too broke. You know, that's the theme, right? That's the theme we were talking about. Yeah, no, I was really looking forward to it as a huge fan of BioWare, so seeing that it's finally dead is sad. At the same time, it definitely was not as advertised or what it could have been. So, F's in chat, as I already see a little bit there. Another first-party Xbox title is making its way to PlayStation soon. Avowed, developed by Obsidian Entertainment, is coming to PS5 on February 17th, which will launch with a large anniversary update for the title. So the more you know there. If you're a Nintendo Switch Online subscriber and you missed it this last week, a new GameCube title was shadow dropped, and one we've talked about on this podcast multiple times as one of the most expensive to retro collect for on the platform, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. So if you didn't see that and you have the membership, definitely check that out. It is absolutely worth it. Xbox has confirmed their next Developer Direct Showcase, which will be on January 22nd. The big news, though, this time around is that it's set to include Fable, which I've been dying to hear about, and Pokemon developer Game Freak will be there as well. We don't know what they're going to talk about yet, so super interesting. Well, of all the years in gaming, 2025 was one of them, friends. Revealed by analyst Matt Piscatella on Blue Sky, the top 5 most played games in the US are very familiar. So familiar, in fact, they were exactly the same as 2024's top 5. Any guesses, panel?
Fortnite.
Minecraft.
Yeah, Fortnite.
Roblox?
And, Fortnite, Minecraft. And what is that? The other shooter?
Arc Raiders.
Oh, I can't
Apex
think of it.
Legends.
Not Arc Raiders. Apex Legends. That's what I was thinking of.
Excellent
Yeah.
guesses. You've nailed a fair amount of them. On PlayStation, in order, Fortnite, Call of Duty, GTA 5, Roblox, and Minecraft.
Woo,
In
let's
2024 for PlayStation, the same exact order. So unchanged on
so
PlayStation.
sad.
Damn.
On Xbox, Fortnite, Call of Duty, GTA 5, Minecraft, and Roblox.
Christ.
In 2024, that was Call of Duty, Fortnite, Minecraft, GTA 5, Roblox. So if you're wondering why certain devs chase certain trends or certain titles, wonder no more. A place where I worked for almost 8 years, and we were talking about this earlier, I definitely poured my blood, sweat, tears, and empty feeling Black Fridays into cardboard boxes in the back as I was sleeping on them, is closing hundreds of stores permanently. That's right, GameStop announced very suddenly, and to the shock of many employees and customers, uh, they found out when signs were posted on the front of the locations that are shutting down. A community run page has confirmed that as of at least 5 days ago, 296 locations have been confirmed to close, and about another 100 that are kind of in limbo right now. So, kind of a sad day. I know that we were talking about working at GameStop in the past. I know we've also talked a lot about like it's trending down and the decisions that are made, but that kind of feels kind of a big thing. The GameStop is now closing even more right now with everything that's going on. How do you guys feel about that? Chat, feel free to chime in as well.
Ooh, well, for me, there's a lot of nostalgia that comes from that. I mean, I go so far back that I was there before when it was Funco Land. I'm certain you guys remember going to either Babbage's or going to Software, etc. Right before it all became a one conglomerate as GameStop, and I was even there during the transition into GameStop, and I can just see how this happened. Because we've all been around, gaming for so long to have that ability to look back and see. People have fun memories of Funco Land where used games came first and they were priced very competitively, and you could find some real gems that were actually really really hard to find, and they always encourage you to demo before you buy anything used. It's like, hey, we want to make sure that what's going out the door works. And then GameStop happened, and a lot of that stuff it's kind of like feature creep. It just all started to go away, and then they started to not focus on games as much. And the next thing you know, there's a whole wall of goddamn Funko Pops, and you're like, I thought this was a game store.
Yeah,
Right.
Funko Land to Funko Pop.
yeah. Well, and remember too, like
Mhm.
the whole time they branched over after acquiring ThinkGeek, and like they also made ThinkGeek stores that was
Yeah.
mostly for their merch, and they had to fold that and put that merch back into their stores. Yeah, no, it's definitely a vibe. Like I really hate the way that my tenure ended at GameStop, and it's shaded a lot of things for me. Like looking back at the company, some of
Oh
the
yeah.
unfortunate
Oh yeah.
things that happened there with other employees as well. Like a lot of memories, though. I really got into gaming because of that social aspect, and midnight launches at GameStop are still something I hold near and dear in my heart, and were some of my favorite
Yeah.
memories as I was going through my 20s, my late teens. So yeah, no, there's a lot of things I'm going to remember. I'm really sad to see where it's gone and how it's happened, but I will say zero freaking surprise with how they're handling shutting these stores down. Just all some of these employees literally said we only found when we had to print out and put the sign on our door, and I'm like, that checks out.
Yep.
Today's news.
These days, that's it. I do have just one interesting story that nobody else could possibly have about our store that I worked at. So big games that I worked the launch of. I worked the launch of Half-Life 2. I worked the launch of World of Warcraft and EverQuest 2, and I worked I worked the launch of Halo 2. But I also worked the launch of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the midnight release, as you were talking about. But what's unique is that one of our part timers happened to be one of Michael Jackson's old producers. You were like, wait, what? Yes. You're like, what? And when I started back up there and I was in management, I was like, what do you mean? I was like, there's no chance in hell. And no, he's showing his pictures and everything. It's like, oh, this is serious. What the hell are you doing in our town working at GameStop? He's like, I'm just taking a break from the industry. He's like, I don't need the money. This keeps me busy. But what made this so exciting, and how we can prove it, and I can prove it now, is that the night that San Andreas launched, we gutted the game as usual, and we're looking in the manual, and one of his songs is in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and he has a credit in the fucking instruction manual. And he was like, "This is the coolest thing that's happened to me. I gotta go call my mom." And we were like, "This is so fucking surreal."
That's very, very true.
No, he's
Yeah. I think you got the market cornered on that story. You win, absolutely. I mean, I have some GameStop stories, but that takes the cake. To finish up the news before we run out of time, Ubisoft is continuing their restructuring efforts, and now we know that 55 employees from Massive Entertainment, known for The Division, and Ubisoft Stockholm have been laid off. It was part of the company's voluntary leave program that's kind of wrapping up, so it's not completely out of left field. But this is on the heels of Ubisoft closing their Halifax studio last week, which, if you didn't hear, they had just seen their employees unionize. So that got shut down almost immediately after that happened. They're not saying it's for that reason exactly, but just right on the heels of that, even more layoffs that were kind of planned and offered. Kind of sucks. Kind of on that same note, Meta is also scaling back their gaming presence today. This kind of dropped a little bit earlier, with news breaking of multiple studios closing and staff layoffs. Roughly 10% of the staff from their Reality Labs division are being cut, with 2 studios known to be impacted: Twisted Pixel Games, which did the Deadpool VR title most recently, and Sanzaru Games, which did Asgard's Wrath 1 and 2, which were 2 good VR games. I remember playing both of those. So that's a little disheartening to hear. Not too surprised. I know how much money that the Reality Labs has been losing. Some of the work that I did with my time at Xbox, I also was contracted. This is, it's been released, so I can talk about it. But we were able to work with Reality Labs, so there's some cool tech there. And I remember just learning about Asgard's Wrath and the team there. So it sucks, and best of luck to everyone there that is impacted by that. In case you had forgotten about the old God game genre, Peter Molyneux has returned. Everyone rejoice! His newest game, Masters of Albion, which was revealed back at Gamescom in 2024, if you didn't remember, now has a release date. It's set to release April 22nd. I mean, the dude has created some of the most recognizable games in my childhood, but longtime gamers are very familiar with the man, the myth, the legend that is Peter Molyneux. So we'll see if what we get, what's promised, is what's in the game. He's also said this is likely to be his last title due to his age. So we'll see what happens with that. Speaking of things ending, Netflix has confirmed that the Witcher series will air its 5th and final season in 2026. No love lost for some fans of the series. Panelists, have you guys watched the series at all?
Nope.
I have. I watched that first season. I've never cared about The Witcher. Like, even though I own both the games, actually, I own all 3 games, and I can never play through them. So I've just never been a fan. But Henry Cavill, I think he did a really good job of helping me to get into that world and to understand why people like The Witcher. I was like, okay, yeah, now this is all kind of comes together and makes sense. And I think the second that they got away from the core of The Witcher, as he talked about, I can see why that made people so upset right in the first place, because it's like, that's weird. But boy, he nailed that shit in that first season. I was like, oh, okay, Superman got an attitude today. All right.
Yeah.
He's just cutting people's heads off. Like, all right, okay, I'm like, go on with your bad
won't
self.
Get too far into the pond
Like,
that is
guy.
Witcher and its fandom and the response. I will say that one of my friends is a huge fan of it. He read the books, then loved the games, got me into the games as well, and hated the series from the get-go. And after hearing about Henry Cavill's takes on it and how he had a lot of issues with the showrunners because they had never read or played the games or even wanted to, and he was like a hyper nerd about it. I'm not too surprised to see everything that's kind of coming out about it. It's too bad. I did enjoy the first season as well, and as a stand back, I liked watching it. My wife watched it with me. We had some good laughs and enjoyed it for what it was. But yeah, I haven't watched the most recent 4th season, so it's coming to an end. Nonetheless, who knows if that was planned or in response to everything that's happening. Rumor mill time. Just a couple quick one for you guys. Same as always, chat. Remember, these are a grain of salt, just like little whispers going on in the background. So don't dive too deeply into them, but let's talk about it and have a little bit of conversation. Hey, anyone on the panel remember Ballad of Antara?
No.
So I mention it because we've talked a lot about Souls-like games. That was one that was shown off in a 2024 Sony State of Play. It was a PS5 exclusive Souls-like that looked very similar to Black Myth Wukong. So if you go back and you can find the trailer still, the trailer is one of the few things that have been out for it. But the reason it's brought it up because it was first spotted on Gaming Leaks and Rumors on the subreddit. It looks like a concept artist for the dev team listed their work on the title as being for a canceled game. It's been deleted since, but the developer Tipworks has had a major restructuring that happened last January, being cut from 120 people to just 20. It's been radio silence since late 2024. So maybe it's paused, but with it reported being pretty far along in development and then this having happened, it feels a bit like scale bound all over again. So
you could say
fans,
the staff was quite literally textbook definition decimated.
and we'll be singing ballads about it since. Thank you. That was so good. We will move on. Jez Corden of Windows Central is back in our rumor mill, this time for a leak on something I'm personally looking forward to. He does have a history of some accurate leaks, but this time Kotaku has also chimed in and said its own sources have verified the claim too. What is the rumor? The rumor is that Machine Games is actively working on Wolfenstein 3. So Corden also mentioned that it will coincide with the Wolfenstein TV show that is being made over at Amazon. There's no premiere date on that yet, by the way, but after everything that's been happening with Fallout, they want to capitalize on it, right? Big surprise. Reminder, the studio head game director, Dirk Gustafsson, said in a YouTube documentary about the making of the series, they've always envisioned it as a trilogy of games. So I'm excited for it. I was a fan of New Order and Wolfenstein 2. And James, you and I, we actually streamed Old Blood back in the day and had a lot of fun doing that. So it was really cool. But I'm excited for it. The fact that they are kind of following up on the vision, I'm excited. We'll see what ends up happening with that, but it sounds like it's been verified by a couple different sources that it could be coming true. On the most recent episode of Button Mash, Jason Schreier of Bloomberg fame mentioned that GTA 6 isn't yet content complete. In his conversation with sources, it seems like the game is still trying to finish features like levels and missions, and it hasn't moved on to later stages of development like polish and bug fixes. This has caused more concern that even the latest November release date may not hold. So, what do you think? Do you feel that this is a potential red flag panel, that the title will be pushed to 2027?
No, I don't see it. I think it's gotten delayed too many times. I think they're going to start feeling the crunch, and they're probably more likely to just go ahead and push it out with issues, right? And people will be so excited over Grand Theft Auto 6, right? After this long, again, you were a small child when Grand Theft Auto 5 comes out, and then GTA 6 is out, and it's literally you became an adult. But in the time it took to develop, they won't care. People will, unfortunately, they will.
That reminds me of one of my favorite memes I sent to one of James and my coworkers who was a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. It was the same thing. It was 3 panels where it was a kid playing Kingdom Hearts, like a young adult playing Kingdom Hearts 2, and then like an 80-year-old man playing Kingdom Hearts 3, because we were waiting forever, and by the time it comes out, you're going to be ancient.
It's been 84
Right,
years.
exactly.
Right. Ace, James, what do you guys think? Do you think it's going to come out in November still? Or do you think this is just scuttlebutt?
Honestly, while the current status of the game is a pretty major concern, I also wouldn't be surprised, and this is what irritates me, the fact that I'm not surprised, but they probably will try and push it out this year, issues and all.
All right, we'll see what happens. I know there was a couple discussions actually happening on our Discord, which, once again, hop on there, chat with us. I love seeing it, about it being pushed or it releasing or it not being good enough. I know, Jagos, you were talking about Legendary Drops, the content creator, dropped a video on it and was talking about how it's definitely not going to be good or all this stuff. So there's a lot of stuff happening right now, and Jason kind of coming out and adding to this rumor mill of it not being feature complete, even, it feels like, or it's still being worked on in a pretty significant way, or at least suggesting that. I wonder if it'll get delayed again. Should they say it's delayed until further notice when it's made? That'd probably tank the stock price.
Oh yeah,
It's going to come out.
Okay. You heard it here first. Last little bit, I have a article, but we'll just breeze right through it really quick. And I just want to hear what the panel has to think about this. Feel free to link it in chat if you don't mind, James. But popular YouTuber and tech expert Linus from Linus Tech Tips commented on the Steam Machine's price. Now, the Steam Machine price and rumors about it have been flying all around since about like 4 or 5 days ago. A Czech retailer has seemingly leaked the cost of the Steam Machine. Now, the big deal with this is like that may include like the VAT tax, it may include different kind of costs that kind of inflate the price, so maybe it won't be that. Linus is saying by looking at the components that he sees, which come out to about 600, he's expecting at least 699. But since the hardware is a hybrid between PC and console, it has some more expensive parts, especially everything that's happening right now with RAM prices. So there's kind of a talk right now that it's looking like, hey, this might end up being about $1,000 for this thing. The Czech retailer had posted this and it said it's around $800 for the 512 gigabyte Steam machine, around $900 for the 2 terabyte machine. But with those margins and everything, it translates price wise to about $1,068.51 for the Steam machine, and that's allegedly, reportedly, pre-tax. So, again, we've been talking about RAM prices and stuff, but what do you guys think at that price? Are you getting the Steam machine?
Nope.
Or do you think it's worthwhile to people, even if you aren't?
I think it's worthwhile.
State your case, my man.
I think it's worthwhile. You know, and I'm the guy that does not like Valve and doesn't like Steam, but when they put stuff out, they do stuff really well, and they understand a tight focus. For people that don't like getting around and messing with the bits and bobs of hardware, I think it's a good value. For people who like small PCs, it's a good value. I'm a guy that likes small PCs especially, and I've seen quite a few machines that offer way less and are not as engineered. We'll say that retail for so much more. And for people to be surprised, that kind of shocked, oh, this could be $900 to $1,000. Well, if anyone stops and takes a look at the Asus NUC line, the ROG NUC line, that's small pickings. If you look at that, you're going to pay $2,000, right, for this micro machine. $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 sometimes in some configurations. So to have a gaming focused machine, not unlike those ROG NUCs, it's actually a reasonable price, and that's without all the RAM issues. Like the prices that I was giving you were before this whole crisis started. So it's like, that may not actually be unreasonable, but time will tell, when we really get to see the full final, here's what we're offering, exactly that, all that, even going, hey, it's only 512, of SSD space. Yes, but that's so easy to replace these days, right? Any idiot can do that. If you can unwrap a stick of gum, you can jam an SSD in a machine.
Yeah.
So
The
that's
trickier
not a
thing
thing
being
to
whether or
worry
not
about.
that memory as well is affected by some of these price increases and chips. Like Blue is calling
Bingo.
out in chat, one thing I do want to say as well, just for the panelists, just in case they haven't been keeping up with it, like Blue said, and as a lot of people are cautioning, Steam doesn't really ship to stores and stuff, and this retailer is not getting the machine most likely. So this is definitely like a rumor kind of thing. The fact that they put it up, who knows? It might be a markup. They're going to buy it and try to resell it. There's a lot of nuance to this story, just for a conversation, knee-jerk reaction. That's why we're pulling it up. But Blue's absolutely in the right. If you're in chat, definitely read that as well. Ace, what do you think, man? Do you think this is worthwhile? Because to be honest, like even if this is true or ends up being the case, this might still be a really good option for people as a good, perfectly average option between the Xbox, PlayStation,
Absolutely.
and high-end computers.
Absolutely. I mean, just comparing the prices, across the board. If you're looking at, say, like, a PS5 or a Switch 2, most consoles are hovering around, 5 to 600, and most high-end PCs that can handle a lot of the games that folks want to play these days tend to be closer to 2, maybe $3,000, especially with the increasing component cost. So having something, right there in that sort of median range, but still with a lot of the capability of, the higher range PCs, it's $1,000 would be $1,000 would be a reasonable price. Now, again, would it be something that I'd pick up right away? No. Like I said earlier, I'm too broke. But I'm not going to discount or deny the context that price is set in.
Fair enough. Again, as always, grain of salt, rumor mill stuff, but we just wanted to start as a conversation starter and appreciate you, Chad, as well, chiming in and reminding us there's a lot going on in this industry. That's the news in the rumor mill for the week, guys.
Who's in the room for the week? There we go. Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. All right, chat. What else we got for tonight? Actually, tonight I wanted to introduce a new segment for y'all. Something that requires a lot of your participation. Something I've been kind of brewing up in the shadows here. A little something called
That's ominous.
the Headmaster's Desk.
Oh, God, even that picture's ominous.
Oh, it actually is fucking ominous. Good job.
Yeah. So this.
Good job, Gendo.
That is my good father pose.
Shinji.
Naiva.
The Headmaster's Desk is something that I want to just make sure it's like something for you guys, specific for you. So the way this works is that you guys will give me topics to talk about and I'll cover it on the show. It's a chance for you guys to be heard through the Gaming Academy, right? So students, just, give me a few minutes. Listen very close to what this is all about. Because if you're hearing this, it means something unusual has happened, right? The desk, this right here, has been activated. Here at the Academy, not every class requires the Headmaster's Desk. Now let's see if I can do this real quick. This is something I'm going to try something new and different, and I love that. All right. Can you guys can still hear me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, man.
All right. Now check this bad boy out.
All right, how do I sound? Ominous?
You sound like you're coming through
This man is talking to me from Gozer.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
All right. Ominous as hell. All right, so this is my segment, your segment, everybody's segment. Here at the Academy, not every class requires the Headmaster's Desk, but it doesn't appear on a schedule. It's not guaranteed. You can't predict it. It only opens when one of you summons it. Somebody out there in our Discord halls has slid a question across the wood over this fine veneer. It's also, there's a new channel in there as well, so check it out. Send me your suggestions and I'll pick one of them, and I would love to hear your thoughts, your theories, your frustrations, a mystery, maybe some confession if you want to stay anonymous, but something important enough, bold enough, or even confusing enough that it deserves the weight of this desk. And when that happens, I'll answer. Not with quick takes, not with rushed reactions, but with focus, with intention, and with the lamp low and the room quiet, and the attention fixed on your submission. So if the desk is open tonight, understand this. Someone in our community asked a question big enough to call the headmaster forward. And now we examine it together. So folks, welcome to the Headmaster's Desk, a place reserved for moments that matter. Let's see what was delivered to us, and let's all break it down together. So that is going to be my new segment for you guys for the show.
And I'll just return very quickly back here so you guys don't freak out.
Yeah, there was a scary guy that's been talking for like 3 if you heard him.
Yeah.
But there was crazy background noises and shit. It sounded like Mr. X in Resident Evil 2 looking for you in the hallways. I was fucking terrified. This is I went back in time. I'm 44 years old, and you sent you ratatouille'd me back to high school, and I was getting sent to the principal's office. I was just fucking scared.
That is the next that is the effect I'm trying to give here. The ominous.
Oh no, we're all in
legendary.
trouble.
Yeah. When you get that voice, it's over.
You got sent to the principal's office.
Like Blazing Ace Nelson, please head to the principal's office.
Oh no!
But yeah, check that out. Follow, check it out on Discord. I just created it today. The Headmaster's Desk. Submit there if you want us. Like, I think I can set it to, private if you want to. I can keep it anonymous if you'd like. Let me know. DM it to me. Whatever. This is your contribution to the show. If you want to be a part of it, there it is right there. So let me know if there's something you want us to cover. Okay. Fantastic. Okay.
Questions, comments, concerns. Throw them in there because we want to interact with you guys. This is your show. We just kind of lead it, right? But it doesn't work without you. So the more that you contribute to that, the more interesting things we get to talk about.
Shout out to R for reminding us that we need to create a new image for Aces the Tech that has Muso Good plastered across it.
So,
It's funny, Andre, the GQP the next Kingpin, like I think I went to some party and some guy was like, "Are you dressed up as the Kingpin?" And I was like, "What? I'm just wearing a suit, bro. Like, relax." So I'm glad I have that effect on people. Very gangster. All right. Well, Nick, did you have a special announcement?
I did have a special announcement because you were talking about community getting together, talking, getting that feedback. I do want to make a quick special announcement to everyone that's in chat. Please make sure you're hopping on Discord and chatting with us like Oliver called out. However, I want you to vote directly right after this. I'm putting up a live poll that's going to run for just a few days, for our next retrospective segment. If you remember back in November, I did a retrospective segment on Westwood Studios. So this is our chance once a month to look into the past, highlight a dev team, publisher, or defining moment in the gaming industry that changed the entire landscape. It's my little brainchild. It was a lot of fun doing research on Westwood, talking about how it changed my life, but seeing how they changed the industry. So I'll throw a couple in there. We'll see what you have to say. I'm definitely going to grab some more names from you next time. So like I said, just make sure to check out that poll after the podcast ends because I want to get your votes.
I'm excited for that next what do you call that? What you did last time? What was it called? Retrospective.
Yeah, it's retrospective. So one thing I will say. So Jago, so you already thrown out Blizzard. I'm trying to pick ones that have died, that aren't around anymore. Something where we throw back to something just like change the landscape. Once we start killing all of those, we could definitely look at some other ones. But think of something like we mentioned, there's a couple that people threw out in a couple of the different past podcast episodes, but like Black Isle Studios, Silicon Knights, stuff like that. That it's just like, man, this was a lightning bolt in the past in the gaming industry that just, like we kind of mentioned earlier about some of these games, like with Resident Evil 4, it just like created a pivot. And they were just this bright spark that just all of a sudden just disappeared. That's not to say if there's a good argument that we want to dive deep and just kind of hear a little retrospective about stuff that's happened in the past with some of these bigger things that are still around, we absolutely can. Good example, someone mentioned LucasArts games. I played a lot of LucasArts games when I was younger, as a publishing house especially. So remember, they went away, but just came back. Yeah, Interplay. Interplay is going to be one of the ones on there. Thanks for ruining that. So much for being so good. But yeah, definitely check out the poll, guys. I really appreciate it. No, that's all good. But yeah, I just love hearing what the community has to say and just doing a little quick dive and reliving that nostalgia. Cool. That's all I had.
All right, we're running really close here to the end, and that means it's time for the final boss. I lost my slide, so I'm just going to do the sound effect. Do I have the sound effect? No, I don't have the sound effect. Oh well. Wait, I do. I have so many things. There you go, that one. All right, let's do this, guys. I'm excited to share this with you. This was the topic for the evening, and I wanted to cover this because it's very important. It's hitting us very hard this season, especially on limited budgets as such. And tonight's topic was the cost of playing everything. If you guys feel they have to play everything, just know you're not alone. People are here thinking about the same thing. And how do you manage your time? Now, I call this why trying to keep up is the fastest way to fall behind. In modern gaming, we're all being trained to basically chase everything. As you can see that, in the news, the same games that were played last year were played this year as well, right? They're all fighting for your attention, right? But with that said, there's also new releases coming out every week. Season passes expire. There's limited time events, daily login rewards, right? 10 games updating at the same time. It's crazy. And if you're not there on day one, the internet acts like you missed it. But here's the truth nobody says out loud. Trying to play everything comes with a cost, and the price is your enjoyment. Now, we talk about gaming as a hobby here at the Academy, but something along the line, it became a checklist, a backlog, a pressure point, right? A competition we never signed up for. And when you try to keep up with everything, you end up keeping up with nothing. You can't finish anything. You don't absorb anything. You don't experience the world, the story, the combat, the systems. You just race through it so you can just say you played it, right? It's like speedrunning your own free time. Who wants that? Here's the saddest part. You start to lose the joy of discovery. I was just talking about Elden Ring, right? How I'm discovering new things in that game. In RPGs, we don't explore anymore. We minimize the map. In open world games, we don't wander. We fast travel. In multiplayer games, we don't learn. We copy the meta, build from a YouTuber. Not because we want to, but because we're afraid of falling behind. Games as a service models have convinced us that we'll lose progress. Publishers have convinced us that we'll miss our chance. Marketing has convinced us that the next thing is always better than the thing we're playing. But here's the twist. Gaming is the only hobby where the library never disappears. Movies leave theaters. TV shows get pulled. Books go out of print. So do games, by the way. Music catalogs shift platforms. But games wait. The save file waits. Your character waits. The story waits. Right? And the only person rushing you is you. So the question for episode 61 is simple. What are you actually losing by trying to play everything? Time you don't have? Energy you can't get back? The joy you never fully felt? Experiences you've never finished? And for what? To be caught up for about 10 seconds before the next release drops? So here's the gamer quotient philosophy. Play less games, but play them better. Choose games that matter. Choose games that align with your mood. Choose games that respect your time. Choose games that reward focus, not fear of missing out. Because mastery doesn't come from sampling everything. It comes from committing to something. And when you stop trying to play everything, you start actually experiencing something, right? So the real cost of playing everything is that you don't enjoy anything. Like this year's motto, choose with intention and play with purpose. Sony, you should hire me. That was pretty good. So that is our final boss for tonight. It's something that I kind of got inspired while playing Elden Ring Night Rain and just discovering things. And, there's the sense of dread and time limitation with that inner circle starts to shrink, right? But I keep going back to it, experiencing new things, right? Choosing new characters. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. And hopefully that resonates with y'all and you apply that to something that, that's important to you and your hobbies in life. So that is it for the final boss. I love that, the dread. All right. So let me do a quick plug here, of course, because this is what we do here. We want to make sure that this keeps going and going. Last time and in the show, I talked about W Energy, which is the thing I've been sipping on all night over here. Basically, it's the only game that lets you stay awake during the patch notes, the cutscenes, and your 40-hour raid, right? So I've been actually partnered with these guys for a while. Actually, if you use the code GQ Asian Dude, I'll put it up here on the screen in the upper right-hand corner. Right there. Go to w.com, use the code GQ Asian Dude on your checkout. And this flavor here is yuzu. It keeps you hydrated. It uses clean caffeine. It's like green coffee beans. So if you want to, do a substitute for like your typical energy drink, like Rockstar Monster, this is actually doesn't give me jitters. I don't feel bad drinking it. Matter of fact, they have right now a non-caffeinated version, which I've been basically just consuming every day. It's basically Gatorade with Debbie. So check it out. The official sponsored drink of the Gaming Academy. So check. Let me know if you guys are interested in that. I'll give you more details. So, okay. All right, guys. What are your takeaways for tonight's show?
Well, again, just that renewed focus on playing with intention, right? It's again with so much coming out, especially like heck, even just studying up on what we want to do for the Memory Card Chronicles. When we get into more recent years, the list just gets longer and longer, and it's like you have to be able to separate the signal from the noise and really focus on, again, games that respect your time, games that align with your mood, and give yourself the bandwidth to play the games that you want. You have to make sure that bandwidth isn't taken up by the surrounding noise.
Fair. How about you two other guys?
I had a question for Nick.
Oh.
So, as you've become a father, what part of gaming has become exceedingly difficult for you that you did not anticipate?
What aspect of gaming as a whole?
Yes, just like sitting down and trying to find that time to play when you're playing. What part of it has changed in a way that you really could notice? Like, wait a minute, this is way different.
My passion for it, for the hobby. Like, I will freely admit that I haven't been as passionate lately because I have so many different priorities now as a father, just things I'm trying to balance. It's something that gaming especially is such an important part of my life, and it's something that I want to share with my daughter as she gets older. But just it's not a priority at the moment. And when that wanes a little bit, because she's not at an age where she can play with me or something I can introduce her to, it's just something that gets put on the back burner. So I've just noticed that my passion for it has disappeared a little bit. That's one of the reasons I do this podcast with you guys, is because this keeps me connected to that hobby, this industry that I've been in for so long, or was a part of for so long, rather. So that's just completely changed. Other things really haven't changed. Obviously, going to be losing time. The time management is completely different. I can't sit down and play long spans of time anymore. I can't sit down and play WoW for 10 hours a day. Like, that has changed. So just to straight up answer your questions, probably just a passion. I notice that when I'm playing games like right now, I mentioned at the very top, I'm playing Ghost of Yotei. Like, I love it, I enjoy it, but it's just like I don't feel that tug of just like I have to be on and play right now. It's when it fits into my schedule, it's when I can get around to it. It's not a priority as much, so my passion just isn't quite there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it absolutely makes sense. It's because, and this is just for the people that don't know or who haven't gone through this part of it, your priorities absolutely change. And there's a funny thing about this. People think that a mother changes when her, as she goes through a pregnancy and then she has her kid, and her brain actually becomes rewired around that priority. And they've done a study and they discovered that the exact same thing happens to men. Even though it's not anything that's physiologically has happened to you, nevertheless, around your own kid, it forces a rewiring of priorities and different things in your life. And gaming is absolutely one of those things that would be affected by that. I know, because it happened to me too. I started looking at games in a very different way. Now, granted, I still play, I still stream, I do all this, but I remember in that first year, if I could get a chance to play, and he would, my son was kind of a finicky baby, right? He was like a hard napper. It would just take forever to finally get him to go to sleep. But I'd be sitting here, baby right laid up in the arm, sitting here trying to get the game time in. I'm like, oh, okay, this is how he is going to sleep. It's fine. Well, let me just turn the volume down and get the rocking in. But I did start looking for the doing things with more intentionality. Just
Yeah.
as we've been talking about, like, wait a minute, I don't have time to mess around here, right? I can't get deeply involved in the world's craziest lore and go look at every single pebble I can see on screen. I'm like, no, I got shit to do. So I better get in here and stomp this shit out. As a consequence, and this is something that my brother pointed out to me, he was like kind of complaining. He was like, Oliver plays games fast. And I'm like, when I got an Xbox to play State of Decay 2, boy, I got in there and I kicked the hell out of that zombie apocalypse, man. I was through it in like a week and a half, like all the achievements, the works. And I realized it was because of that. I'm so used to not having the access to sit down and play for 10 hours, 12 hours, and possibly more, during marathons and things like that. I'm like, I don't have that kind of time on my hands. My son needs me. Like every time I turn around, it's like, he's now at the age where he's specifically asking me for things, or he wants me to spend time with him, or he wants someone to sit with him, right, while he plays. He doesn't want us to do anything. He just wants us to be around and present. And you learn how to shift and get in your game time where you can. Like on the iPad, I play Vampire Survivors because I know that I can just put the controller down very easily, right? It's not some huge investment of time and emotion and psychology and all. No, you're gonna kill 432,000 fucking skeletons, and then you're gonna do it again in a half hour. Don't think too hard about it. I'm like, right, oh, I can walk away from this. I don't care about this run, and go do those things. So I've got a horrible backlog of games like that has just crept up on me over these past few years because of this very issue. Like I've got Suikoden 1 and 2 remastered. I haven't finished it. I've got Persona 3 Reload. I haven't finished it. I've got the Ultimate Edition of Cyberpunk 2077. I've never opened it, right? It's still in the shrink. And I just keep stacking up more and more games like that. I'm like, well, I'm going to get to it. But right now, you're not the priority, right? My son's the priority. So I find myself going back to familiar things, right? I'm like, well, I'm already playing Monster Hunter. Oh, I can find 10 minutes to kill an Arc Tempered Raid Owl. That's easy. And I've already gotten through the game, right? So it's not like, oh, you're not progressing. It's like you're at the end game, man. You're just kind of doing extras and all that other stuff. And it makes it so much easier to transition off, right? Instead of that kind of deep investment. But it's going to be a thing that happens to each and every one of us, not just not the having kids, but, as time changes and technology changes and the industry changes, that we all have one currency and we don't know how much we have. And that's time. No one is sure of how much of it that they get. So you want to spend it in the wisest places possible. So while we give Ace all the world's grief over his love of Musos, that is him spending it where he likes to spend it and where he enjoys it. And that's commendable. But we also can't forget to still broaden our horizons a little bit every now and again, too, and just try something a little different. Just to see, right? Just to go, hey, you're like, you know what? I love a hamburger, but you know what? I think I'll try one with cheese just to see what happens.
Hence,
Right?
Ball Pit.
Oh, so good.
There you go.
It is also
Damn
it's pushed upon me this undeniable truth that I've learned tonight. There needs to be more memes. So Ace, I got you. Don't worry. Moving forward, I'll make sure it is timed correctly,
Help
and
me.
I got you.
Oh man, do we have to start a Gaming Academy
Well,
meme channel?
Yeah,
Yes.
probably. I mean,
Yeah.
if that gets more people, have your friends join. We need to grow this community a little
Oh,
bit. Just,
God.
if anything, to have some good chats and memes.
Sandwich would be a terror.
Oh yes.
Just make sure that once that channel is created and we build this community out, make sure you mute that channel so you're not getting pinged all the time. You get an update.
Oh, also, Oliver, why don't you share our new X account with the public here?
Yes. So we made it a point to help centralize so many of the things that we're doing that we now have an X account / Twitter, right? Because I refuse to give that up. And like, what kind of X account? You talk about DMX? It's like, it's very confusing. But you can jump right over. Oh, hold on. You can jump right over to GQ Gaming Academy. And the best part is that we're all on that account. So you're going to get different takes from us over the course of the week. You know, Nick might drop some horrifying meme on your head. You know, Ace might have
I don't know
something
about
interesting to
horrifying.
say. Or you can end up in the principal's office. And of course, over the course of, each week, I'll try to find an interesting piece of game history or some kind of did you know moment for you to just go, huh, well, that's neat, right? And go on that. But we promise we won't spam the ever loving dog shit out of you. No, that's the one thing we won't do. It'll be a nice feed. It's a nice boy. You don't have to worry about it. But again, that's at GQ Gaming Academy.
All right, looking forward to seeing everybody there chatting it up with us. Yeah, and basically that's going to be the hub for social media posts and stuff like that too, aside from our Discord as well. So wanted to centralize that for you. We're working on a link tree right now, so you can find all our links there as well. So this way you have one place to find out where we all hang out and where you can chat with us. All right. Okay. Well, I think that wraps up Class 61 of the Gaming Academy. Another great session, another deep dive, another night of learning, laughing, and leveling up. But before we close the book on tonight's class, I'm handing over the mic to one of our faculty members here for an official send-off. Professor Ace, take it away.
Will do. So, what else can I really say? Oh, it's been quite a ride. Headmaster, greatly appreciate the handoff. Students, listen up. Here at the Academy, we live by two pillars, the tech and the final boss. The tech reminds you to study your craft, to break things down, understand the systems, and sharpen your skills. The final boss, that reminds you to face your challenges in games and in life with courage, patience, and heart. So, as we head out tonight, remember your training, remember your mindset, and remember that no matter how big the backlog gets or how tough life's battles feel, you've already taken that first step simply by showing up and strapping on those gloves. That said, we'll see you back here next Tuesday for the next class. And until then, stay sharp, stay focused, and as always, class dismissed. We'll catch you on the next one.
Everybody have a good night.
Mission complete.
You got a new tagline, Ace. I love it.
Muso, what? Crazy.